back, friends. This is episode 7 of my endless watching and sort of unboxing of my movies in my collection. The point of this whole channel is just to show you physical media, hopefully convince you to buy some stuff you didn't have. It's mostly for myself so that I can just watch all my movies and then talk about them afterwards. It's something I enjoy doing. I watch so many movies, it's actually kind of unrealistic to most people. But this weekend I did a total of, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's a 4-pack, so 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in this episode. So I'm just going to get right to it. I don't want my episodes to run too long. And my first one is Jaws. This has a lenticular, I don't know if you can see it changing, lenticular slipcover. It's a pretty big edition. This is 4K. So yeah, nice thick book here, or box, slipcover box, and then it's got just the 4K. It comes, I watched an over 2-hour like documentary with everybody from the movies in it. Yeah, it's a double disc, comes with the Blu-ray and the 4K. No reversible art, obviously, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, what can I say about Jaws? Like, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen Jaws. Comes with a pretty thick book here, too. This is, how many pages? About 30-page book. And it's just, like, the whole history, art from each of the movies. This is the ultimate edition. Honestly, you'd never need to buy another edition of this movie. It's, like, probably a dozen hours of special features. It's just insanity. And Jaws is definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, this is just the 4K collectible. It's a lot of people refer to it as the starter of the summer blockbuster film. Directed by Spielberg, obviously. And the work that he put into this, it's crazy. In the making of documentary I watched, they created the shark and everything, and it didn't work. It wasn't working for them, and it was just hell. Like, it's crazy how much time and work went into making this movie. But it's a masterpiece. 5 out of 5 for me. I would say that it's hard because I've never done my full ranking of horror movies, or even movies in total of all time, but this would definitely be making a case for a top 20 position. I don't know, it would be really hard for me to do that. But yeah, stellar cast, phenomenal acting, great storytelling, great everything. Jaws is a flawless movie in my opinion. So yeah, I'll just skim over that one because everybody's seen Jaws. I had this 4K, haven't watched the 4K yet. I've seen this movie a fucking dozen times probably in my life, but I'd never watched the 4K, and it looks great. They didn't suck all the grain out of it. It still feels like a 70s movie. It doesn't feel like they made it yesterday like some 4Ks do. Feels still old, just has great sound and great picture. And then I got to another DC animated universe film. This is Superman Red Son. Definitely one of my favorites of all the animated movies. It's based off, obviously, a great comic line as well. My cover, my slip cover, has got a lot of damage on it. It's brutal. Look at all those marks. Annoys me, but whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, this is basically an alternate universe where Superman lands in Russia instead of the United States. and it shows what would have happened if he rose up in the Kremlin, and it's great storytelling. Like, it really shows you just the shittiness of both Russian politics and United States politics. It isn't like all just one-sided, where one's evil, the other's super heroic. Shows you that they're both corrupted. And Batman storyline is awesome in here. His parents, I won't reveal too much, but his parents still die, but they die in a different way, and he's Russian, Batman. And he basically grows up to be a terrorist. It's pretty cool storyline there. It takes place during World War, the end of, what's the exact year this takes place? Like, it's 1948 or something. Anyways, it's like 1948 or something. I can't remember. I watched this one yesterday, and I can't remember what year it takes place, but not important really. But Stalin is the president of Russia. Superman kills him, takes over the presidency of Russia, and just has a vision of what the whole world should be. It's really good. Great storyline. Like, anyone that hasn't seen this one needs to check it out. Man, these DC animated movies just knock it out of the park for me. Love them. I'm gonna try and include one almost every episode, pretty much, because I haven't even seen all of them. Next up here, we have Ringu. This is from Arrow. Arrow Video there. It's this is the 4K. I'm pretty sure this comes with the Blu-ray as well. I think this is like the Ultimate Edition, but maybe not. Nope, it does not. This is 4K only. So if you don't have a 4K player set up, obviously, yet again, don't buy this. Show you what it all comes with here first. It comes with this really freaking cool poster. It's got that side in white-ish, and then it's got it in the blackish, and green, sorry. So yeah, really nice, cool poster there. And then the booklet, it's not a huge booklet, but it has like a couple commentaries with the cast and crew. About the restoration, what it took them to restore it, how they did it, all that stuff. A lot of writing. Decent booklet. But this was a first time watch for me on Ringu. And I have to say, this is a rare occasion where I actually like the American remake with Naomi Watts better than this original. I think, it's hard. It's hard because it's pretty much the same movie. Like, they're almost shot by shot. Like, it's not a total shot by shot, but they both show a lot of the same things. They both end sort of the same. Like, it's a lot of the same stuff, obviously. But I find the American one to be scarier than this. Like, it just, and it's odd because Japanese horror is usually more scary. But like, this did come out in what, 98? What year is this? It's original here, 98. So, like, it is a 90s Japanese horror, but it's hard. I can't say I hated it. Like, to me, this is like a 3 out of 5. And the original's like a 4.5 for me out of 5. I just absolutely loved the original Ring. Like, me and my wife even named our first daughter after Samara, the American version of her name. But our daughter's name's Samara, but we named it after that. We just didn't want to actually call her Samara. just in case she turned out to be the demon. But yeah, we seen this in the theater together back in when it came out, mid 2000s, early 2000s. And sorry, we seen the remake. I said this. We didn't see this in the theater. This is my first watching. But everything this does, I feel like the American version does better. It's just longer, lengthier scares. The acting to me is better in the American version. So, in all honesty, if you've seen the American version, you don't really need to see this one unless you're like a completionist like me and you just want to see everything. Because it doesn't do that much more, and you have to read the whole thing. And I know that turns some people off. Not me, but it turns some people off. So, like, I would just say stick to the American remake. But if you definitely want to see where the source material came from, check this out. It's who's the actor that's in this? Because he's like one of my favorite like samurai movie type actors. I can never remember his name. Oh yeah, Hiroyuki Sanada. He's in the new Shogun show, which I've now finished, and it was absolutely excellent. But yeah, give it a try. Like this 4K Arrow, I pretty much collect everything Arrow and all the boutique labels. That came out, and I pre-ordered it because I didn't have it. But yeah, okay, here's one that just came out a few weeks ago. This is called The Iron Claw. This is right up my alley. This is based on a somewhat true story. They change a lot and make it their own, add some stuff in, but it's based off of the Von Erich wrestling family, practically a dynasty, and they were huge in the 70s and 80s, and then their father was huge before that. And this is just, it's like a documentary, shows their whole life, the tragedy that comes upon. I'm not going to give it away. I already knew because I'm a huge wrestling fan, so I knew the whole story behind the Von Erichs and what happened to their family. But it's like, I loved it. I know it's not getting the greatest reviews, but I actually loved this movie. I thought it was very well done. I think even if you're not a fan of wrestling, there's a lot to enjoy here. It's like a good story. Like even after you watch this movie, you'll go check out like the real Von Erich story, just so you can get like the full truth and not a movie's version of it. But yeah, that came out. Had to check it out. A lot of great actors. Definitely give that one a watch. Wrestling fan or not, give it a try. Alright, this next one is a 4-pack. This is from the WB Archive collection. This is a film noir 4-pack. And I've had this for quite some time. I went on a big spew where I was buying a lot of film noir. And I've never, like, up until a year ago, I haven't watched a classic film noir. I've seen more modern ones. Like some modern film noirs, like, that you could call a film noir. Something like you can say Sin City, but that's not really film noir. Like it is, but it isn't. Film noir is a hard topic, or a hard category. But yeah, I'll go through each one here quickly. Give my thoughts. The first movie, they're all on their own disc, which was nice. The first one is Murder My Sweet. This one was the second best for me of these 4. They're like crime. These are all 4 of these are black and white crime thrillers out of the 40s. I believe all 4 of these are from the 40s. So we got, this first one is 1945, and it's got great acting. The femme fatale all the female leads are always like very crimey. Like it's there's always plots happening in film noir movies where somebody's tricking somebody. And this first one delivered. I'm not like huge on these movies, so I don't even know a lot of the actors, so it's hard for me to talk about them because I'm just starting to get into them. So my knowledge base isn't that big. But this one has Dick Powell as the lead, and he does an excellent job. Some of his lines, he's just so arrogant sometimes, and then some of his lines are delivered so well. But yeah, definitely. Like this whole 4-pack, I'll just say straight up, this is a buyer. Like these all 4 of these are solid. The next one here is Out of the Past. This one stars Robert Mitchum. I don't know who else it has. It has young Kirk Douglas. But yeah, this one is very. This one I think was the longest of all of them as well. This one ran at like. What was the runtime on this one? This one's from 47, and the runtime was, I believe it was the longest on this pack. It doesn't say anywhere, but it felt like the longest. Yes, it does actually. It was 97 minutes. And yet again, setting, storyline, Robert Mitchum's an awesome actor. I've only seen a few of his movies now, but he's really growing on me. He's just got like a presence. Like he's just a strong male lead. It's crazy for back then. And Out of the Past, yeah, like it's one of the highly rated. And here's the funny part though. For me, this one's the 3rd best on this set. It's not number 1. For a lot of people, it'd probably be their number 1, because I know when I was putting them into my letterbox, I was seeing the average scores on there. And Out of the Past was the highest rated of these 4. But yeah, another must-see. Great storyline. This one's like guy meets a girl. There's no point in me really going in depth on film noir movies because they all kind of feel very similar. They're all like just crime thrillers, really. The next one here was The Setup. Looks like that on the disc. This one was a boxing movie. And it starts out, guy and his wife, she wants him to quit boxing because the last time he got in a fight, it gave him like, he was unconscious for days, and she's scared for his life basically. And he's like, I gotta have this one more fight, dear. I can beat this guy and I'll get a championship belt and a payout, and then we can just go retire. So soon as that's said, I know where the story's going already, right? Everybody can figure that out. And it's about 45 minutes before the boxing fight begins, but it's all the pre-fight stuff. Like it shows him in the locker room talking to people, and then it shows his fighting his bookie, and his bookie's placing bets against him and telling all these gangsters to place bets against him and stuff. And that's all I can reveal on the storyline. I'm not gonna tell you who wins the fights and stuff, but this one was good too. It's number 4 for me on this of these 4. It's in 4th place of these 4, but it's still like a solid, probably 2.5 to 3 out of 5. Like, still pretty solid stuff. And then the last one on this disc is called Gun Crazy, and this one was my number 1, which kind of shocked me because when I read the back of it before I watched it, I wasn't expecting what it ended up becoming. But it's like it starts out with this young boy, and he's got a fascination with guns, and he basically is shooting things in his backyard, and he gets in trouble. He brings a gun to school at the beginning, so it literally shows this kid like playing with a gun in his classroom, showing all the other kids. And because it's just set in a different time era, it's actually kind of crazy. And then it cuts to later on in life, and his mother sent him off to like boarding school, and like just thought he was bad. And he comes back and he finds his old friends. They go to a circus, and there's a girl there that is like a great shooter, and she's like shooting bottles off people's heads and stuff out of people's mouths, and he like instantly falls in love with her. And he's a good guy. He's actually like a good guy, super nice, and good going and stuff. And she just has this presence again. It's this film noir style where the girls are all like just got this little bit of badness to them. And this girl basically leads him down a path of bad decision making. And that's all I'll say. It's a series of unfortunate events, basically. But terrible decision making, and it's good. Like, I really like that one. I gave that one, I think, like a 3.5 to 4, which is high for me. Like, this is my first watch on all these. I had never heard of any of them, so I was just diving into film noir, maybe upon second viewing. Like, I'm really strong on the idea that you can't truly rank a movie until you've seen it twice. So when I'm giving you these scores, they're probably not my final scores unless it's on a movie I've seen at least twice. Because, I don't know, I find the first time I watch a movie, sometimes my expectations are way too high, so the movie disappoints me. And then the second time you watch it, your expectations just aren't there, so you enjoy it more. I've been going through and rewatching all the 2023 horror movies because I'm going to be doing my top of those coming up as soon as I possibly can, as soon as I'm done watching everything I want to watch there. And some of them have climbed up my list, and some of them have dropped down a little bit upon second viewings. But yeah, definitely check this out. The WB archive collection. Like, I wish they didn't charge so much for these. Like, this was like 60 Canadian here for the 4 movies, which isn't bad. But like, individual movies from the WB archive collection, they go for like around $30 a piece. And it's hard for me to take risks at that price. Like, if they were like $10 to $15, I would buy shitloads of them. Just to, like, risking it, right? Like, I've never heard of this movie, don't know whether it's good, but I'll buy it for that price and give it a try and give it a watch. But when they're like 30 plus tax, it's like, oh man, like, if this movie's not good, it's a waste of that much money. But yeah. Alright, and here's the highlight of this episode. This is like the big one. So, I did all the Evil Dead movies, except for Evil Dead Rise, because I'm saving that for my 2023 horror movie ranking. But, like, the first one, I've seen this movie. This is Evil Dead. This one's from Scream Factory. Comes with a buttload of special features there. This is the 4K edition from Scream. I don't think it came with reversible art. And it's 4K only as well. Yeah, 4K only. It's just the 4K disc. In this set. What can I say about the Evil Dead remake? This is the 2013 edition of Evil Dead. For me, this one's, and I know this is controversial, but this one's my favorite in the franchise. I like that it goes off of the other Evil Dead movies. It is actually scary to me. Like, it's like a terrifying movie, to be honest. And the work that went in with the blood, the amount of blood they use in this, all of the kills are just like over the top gore, just like the originals, but more realistic. Like, the originals are kind of comedic, but this one is just like straight up horror. And there's some like cringe ass moments in this. Guy's getting stabbed in the eyeball with the needle. That shit just drives me nuts. The girl that's freaking sawing her arm off and licking the exact on there. Like, there's so much brutal shit in this. But this is my favorite in the whole franchise of the Evil Dead movies. So that might say something about the kind of person I am, because I know these movies have a huge cult following. I know my friend Brendan over on Our Life in Horror here on YouTube and Instagram and all that. I know he absolutely loves this franchise. I think it might be his favorite franchise of all time. I've never actually had that discussion, but I think it might be. And this next one here, I believe, is his favorite horror movie of all time. And that's Army of Darkness. I actually did an episode with him on his show. The first episode was it the first one I did? I've done a few now. I love doing episodes on there, but I did an episode with him on this movie where we dissected the whole thing. You should give that a check out, because it's like an hour and a half of us just talking Army of Darkness. And this, so 4K again, Scream Factory. This one has everything, basically. It's got the 4K Ultra HD theatrical cut. It's got the Blu-ray theatrical cut. It's got the Blu-ray director's cut. And it's got the Blu-ray international cut and the Blu-ray television cut. All included here. Now, my only complaint, and it's not a big deal because I can just watch it because it comes with it, is I wish they included the director's cut on 4K as well. Like, they should have had both, the director's and the theatrical on 4K. But this is a beastly set. Like, this is probably the last time you'd ever have to buy this movie. Comes with every version you can imagine. And I'm gonna say, the first time I watched this wasn't that long ago. This was like when I did the episode with Brendan. It was the first time I had ever seen it. Like, as an adult, like, I remember seeing it a long time ago, but that doesn't really count because I was too young to actually even understand what I was watching. But it was my first watch like a year and a half, 2 years ago. This would be my second. And it grew on me this time. So when I did the episode with him, I kind of shit on it a little bit. I didn't give it that high of a score. And I think it's because I did these movies backwards. Like, I don't have nostalgia with them. And the first time, like, the first one I watched was, like, as an adult. I watched them when I was a kid, but that doesn't really matter. Like, they didn't hit me back then when I was a kid. But the first one I watched was the remake. And that's such a scary, brutal movie. So when I'm going back to watch these ones and they're almost horror, well, they're not almost, they are horror comedies. It's different and it's hard to get out, you got to separate these from the remake, in my opinion. And once you do that, upon second view, like I said, when you watch things multiple times, upon second view, this grew on me. I would say it's more like up in the 3.5, 4. Before I had it like at a 2.5. Now it's climbing up more into the 4 area for me. So hopefully that'll make Brendan happy. Maybe by the third time I watch it, it'll be up to 4.5. But yeah, those two, obviously, they're both must-buys, must-watches. And then I have this one, and it's the Evil Dead Groovy collection here. This doesn't run that expensive, actually. It's why I grabbed it, even though I don't have a huge, it's 4K, I don't have a huge, love of these movies, but this is a nice box set. It looks good on my shelf over there. And I think I broke my box when I went to open it. So the box opens like this. they slide open. And they're supposed to stop at the end here. But I pulled mine too hard first time I got it and pulled it right off. But yeah, so that's how big it actually is when you pull it all out. Pretty big stuff there. Not much on the back. It just looks like that. But then you get into this beast, and it's got the nice like thing to pull out the book, and that's all that's inside here is just this big book. So this all is just a cover with the hidden book inside, which is cool to me. I like that. And I'll set that aside for now, so I can pull this big book out. So we got, looks like this, like that on the back. Got your classic Groovy there. And then we got, this is the first page. Try to move up here so you can actually see it better. And then here's the first movie, The Evil Dead. Gives you a little write-up on it. And you get the 4K and you get the Blu-ray, I believe. Yep, the Blu-ray. I'm guessing all the special features and stuff will be on the Blu-ray disc. I watched it on 4K. I've also seen it classic as well. But this one is my second favorite in the series. I like the original a lot. I think it's the second most horror movie of the franchise, if you don't include the newest one, Evil Dead Rise, which I'm trying not to talk about because I'm going to do that on a future episode. But I really think that this would be my number 2 in the franchise. Don't need to talk much about these movies. Everybody's seen them, I would assume. Group of kids, go to the cabin in the woods. You know the rest. But yeah, 2 discs there. And then we come to Evil Dead 2. A nice little write-up there. This also includes the 4K and the Blu-ray. Now this one takes the first one. It's almost like a remake of the first one, really. And it adds just insane amounts of comedy, gore, just everything. It throws everything at you. Like, it's just batshit crazy. This one is a lot of people's favorite, I believe. For me, it would be my third place, but it's still a lot of fun. Like, this was my second viewing as an adult of it, and it grew on me just like Army did. And like, I can't recommend these movies enough. And this box set too. Like, this is a nice box set for these. And then this comes with Ash versus the Evil Dead. That's the next couple pages here. And I only watched season 1 of this show. I believe it's 3 seasons. Yeah, this is season 1. We got season 2. This is on Blu-ray as well, not 4K. And we got season 3. So, I have mixed thoughts on this. And then there's bonus content disc. So all your bonus features are actually on this final disc here, which is nice. That's cool. I hate having to pop in every single disc, and then you got your final page. But yeah, this is like a must-have set, to be honest. Unless you own them all individually and you don't really care about the cool packaging, then that's fine. But the set itself is a must-buy. Like, it just looks nice on your shelf. So yeah, that's my big piece for this week. And that, I'll get back to that show for a minute. So I watched season 1, and I didn't hate it. I didn't like it that much either. Like, I also didn't have time to get to season 2 and 3 in this little amount of time that I'm giving myself between episodes. So I just powered through season 1 in one sitting. And like, it's got some good comedy. It's got, like, Bruce Campbell's awesome. But it's a little too comedic. Like, it's too much Evil Dead for me, if that's a thing. But it's just, at a certain point, I've seen it all. I don't need to see much more of it. So to a fan, it's probably amazing. Like if this is one of your favorite series of all time, you just can't get enough Evil Dead, then the show's probably right down your alley because it's just more and more. But I don't think I'll probably watch the last 2 seasons. I might just, like, maybe down the road one day I might throw them in just to say I've seen them at least, see how the show ends. But yeah, it's a good day. Or a day and a half, I should say. Do a quick little showcase here, so I'll try to hold it all up together. It's kind of hard. It's big piles here. But yeah, all that in one. Well, this was a weekend, so technically it was like 2.5 days of watching. I powered through all that while doing like the first season of this show. Hockey playoffs are on. Bruins are kicking the Leafs' ass, which put me in a good mood. Yeah, I've just been doing a lot, rewatching 2023 movies as I'm going, just so that I can get those put together. I'm going to showcase, I know I said this at the end of my last episode, but I'm going to showcase, it's going to be my top 2023 horror movies. Not my top, sorry. It's going to be in order of every single 2023 horror movie I own. And it'll probably be like maybe 2 episodes I can probably knock it off in if I go quickly through them. But yeah, I'm just going to showcase off each. I just want to show you how much of them I own first off, but then I'm going to do a little bit of talk, and then I'm also going to be showing you them and from worst to best as I go through. I'm looking forward to that. I'm almost done watching them all at this point, so it might be ready for Friday's episode, but if it isn't, it'll be definitely ready for Mondays of next week. I still have a couple coming that I ordered that I haven't seen. So I'm hoping they show up this week because I ordered them right off of the company's website because Amazon didn't have them, Cinema One didn't have them. So I had to order right off the website that made the movie. But yeah, looking forward to that. Thanks for tuning in again to see what I've been doing and watching. And hopefully I can convince you to buy some of this stuff. I don't get paid for it, but I just like collecting movies myself. And the more people that collect movies, the more movies they'll put out to collect. It's a dying thing. Argument is all over the place, but I honestly think it is a dying market. Like, there's not a lot. I only know in real life 3 people that collect movies still, and those 3 people are all people that bought a movie off of me, and that's how I met them and became friends. So it's not like before that I didn't know anybody. There was nobody that collected that I knew. So it is dying. There's hardly anybody that feels that love of just buying something and holding it in their hand. I don't know, man. To me, there's no better feeling. Like when I click on a movie on a streaming service, it just doesn't feel important. It has a different feeling to me. Like I'm not excited. I don't really care. But when I take a disc out and I'm just excited. It's probably just my age, right? I grew up in the era where that was the only way to watch things, was to go rent it, and you just can't wait to get home and throw it in. And I don't know, it helps. Like, it would be my argument if we were to go down that road, is that I think it's just when times have changed now, the new generations are just growing up in a world where there's multiple reasons. First off, shit's really expensive and life's expensive, so not a lot of people have a lot of money to just waste on stuff like this. But the bigger thing is that I just don't think the drive is there anymore because they didn't grow up doing it. So how can you expect them to just all of a sudden want to? But yeah, So it's mostly people my age, a little bit younger than me, and then older than me that will still be holding on to this and keeping this collector's market alive. And I'm just buying up everything I can while it's here. And that's where I was gonna go on the other side of the argument, where if it's such a dying market, how come I can't even come close to keeping up with all the stuff that comes out every week? It's actually insane when you put up all the boutique labels. Like, even if I just wanted to collect, like, say, like Kino Lorber, I would never be able to keep up with everything just they put out every single month. Like, the pile's like this big every month, just from that one boutique label. You got Scream Factory doing like 3 or 4 a month, running in quite expensive there. So if you just wanted to collect that would cost quite a bit. And then you got Arrow putting out like 2 to 4 a month, and they're not cheap, especially here in Canada. And then I collect all these other ones too: Synapse, Severin, Blue Underground, Full Moon, if you're into those. I got Imprint going now. What's the other one out of Australia? Umbrella. Like, there's so many that I'm collecting. But yeah, I mean, I love it. So the market ain't dying to me. And as long as these companies keep doing good enough, like, I am scared that if the mainstream companies start to lose so much money that they go out of business, that the boutique labels' prices will go so high that they'll be practically unaffordable, and then they'll just kill themselves off. That's the one thing that scares me. But is like, mainstream media just needs to start putting out more quality product, and we'll buy it. It's that simple. Like, stop giving us shitty movies. Start focusing on writing and like hiring great writers, great directors. It's getting off on a rant now, but whatever. You know the deal. It's what it's like being a collector. But yeah, it ain't dying to me anytime soon, so I'm gonna keep buying as well I can and just keep adding to this collection and keep her going. Thank you for joining me for episode 7. I'll see you on Wednesday for episode 8. I'm not sure what I'm even doing for that one yet. I've watched a few movies that I could throw in there. I'm trying to knock off the 2023 horror, so I'm trying to fit in other stuff. So Wednesday's episode will probably be just another mix of a bunch of randos that I just feel like watching. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me. We'll see you in a couple days.